So we want to talk about the secrets of starting a year with spiritual success. So I'm going to share with you 5 different secrets. I'll tell you at the beginning, and then we'll go into them. So the secrets that I will be sharing with you are hitchadshut, renewal, ayin tova, a good eye, skip step 2, I'll tell you what that means, slicha, forgiveness, and tzelem Elokim, image of Hashem. So I'm going to tell you about those 5 things and how you can use them to start a strong spiritual year. So let's start with hitchadshut, with renewal. The first mitzvah that the Jews got when they came out of Egypt was to make themselves new and fresh. Where in the Torah, you might be wondering, does it say make yourself new and fresh? In fact, it says it in chapter 12 of Exodus, Pasuk 2, where it says, "Achodesh hazeh lachem lerosh chodeshim." This month shall be to you the first of months. Actually, that's not really how it is, because the second part of the verse is, this month will be the first months. So really, Rav Hirsch translates it as, this newness, that's chodesh, shall be to you the first of many newnesses. And this month will be the first one. So that means those 2 mitzvahs in the month. One is to in the pasuk, in the verse, one is to sanctify the month, the new month, and the other is to make Nisan the first of all months. I personally, when I'm able to, because you can't, sometimes you have to fill in a form that has boxes, but if it doesn't have boxes, I always write the name of the month instead of putting the number of the month, because January is not the first month. Nisan is the first month. So if I write 1 for January, I'm not keeping that mitzvah. So I try to always write January whatever and the year rather than 1, so that I can know that Nisan is number 1 and the rest of the months have names, not numbers, because the Hebrew months all have numbers. So what is this thing though, this making yourselves new? So when we got out, it's interesting that there is a covenant made, a brit made, between us and God, or between humanity and God, by a sign in the sky. The first one was made with Noah. When Noah got out of the ark, Hashem said, look up and see this rainbow in the sky. Through that I make to you a promise, I'll never destroy you again. No matter how bad you are, no matter what happens, we're in this together, you and me, all of humanity together. I'll never destroy the whole thing all at once again. That's not going to happen. A new covenant is being made between me and the rest of humanity, says God. So then, when the Jews get out of Egypt, they are actually a new subset of humanity. The going into Egypt and the exit from Egypt helps shift them from regular human beings into the spiritual beings that we are, which is, we are physically the same shape as the rest of the human beings on the planet, but we're actually spiritually a separate species. How did that happen? We're all the children of Adam and Eve. We all had to get to separate speciesness and it was really, the Kabbalists explained to us the spiritual steps that were taken. I have a whole talk on it. You can go on my website if you want to and hear that whole talk. But in a nutshell, I will tell you, very short, I'll tell you, that the way that it happened was through the dual process of going into Egypt and being squeezed tight so that the regularness of us was squeezed out. And then imagine, I know you all have maids, but I'm sure you have used a sponge in your life. When you squeeze it very tight, sorry, I just know there's just different paradigms here. When you squeeze the sponge very, very tight, it's very, very absorbent, right? And it's the most absorbent. The tighter you squeeze it, the better it can absorb, right? So we're squeezed so tight in Egypt, and then, squeezed that tight, we were brought to Mount Sinai. And when we were opened up at Mount Sinai, all those empty places inside of us were available to absorb the light of the Torah.